Welcome back to Sister Circle Live. She was the right hand to one of the most gifted and celebrated stars the world has ever seen, Whitney Houston. A music industry vet, she's witnessed the brightest and the darkest sides of the entertainment world.
Now she's using her journey in music and in life to empower others with her new best-selling book, A Better You, Wisdom and Strategies to Help Celebrate and Champion Your Life. Please welcome Pat Houston.
Hello, Miss Pat.
Look at you.
Welcome to the circle.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's so nice to meet you. Mwah.
Pleasure.
Pat.
Baby girl.
Hi.
Have a seat right here.
That is your purple pillow. Pat, how are you?
You know what? I'm great. It's the holidays, and I love the holidays.
Yes.
So, yeah, just happy to be here.
What do you do normally around the holidays?
Well, you know what? Our daughter's birthday is December 19th, so we spend a lot. She's an only child, so we spend a lot of time celebrating around her. So she's had a birthday bash since the age of 6, and it doesn't stop here. And she just turned 20. So this weekend before Christmas, is the lingerie pajama. Party.
Lingerie.
Lingerie pajama. And she's a sophomore in college, so you can imagine the friends. They're not quite the drinking age yet.
Right.
So we'll have kind of security walking through to make sure everything's okay. You know?
Surveillance. Got to have a little surveillance.
Right. Well, let's jump right into it. Whitney Houston's sister-in-law, her manager, you saw so many sides of the industry. If you knew what you know now, would you even gotten into it back in the day?
You know, I got into it because of her. I mean, I was kind of in the industry somewhat before I joined her because I was a designated agent for Screen Actors Guild.
Okay.
And I worked a lot with talent for television and television production shows. So, you know, trying to represent an icon was something else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But she was amazing.
Right.
And yeah, I would do it all over again.
Right.
You know.
In retrospect, would you have changed anything of how you managed her career?
It wasn't her career that was the problem. I mean, she was Whitney Houston, you know, an iconic, you know, the voice of the decade.
Yes.
It was managing the personal life that was most difficult, and that personal life, of course, impacted the career. So I spent a lot of time trying to help her personally, you know, and we kind of engaged other managers to come in, you know, but it didn't work because we were too busy trying to make sure she was okay. You know, and before, you know, it just did not work, you know, primarily.
Pat, what or who do you think failed Whitney and Bobby Christina? And in any way, do you think their lives could have been saved?
Of course, their lives could have been saved. Who failed them? You know, if you say that, Whitney had great parents. Her mother was just amazing. I mean, she had 3 children, 2 sons that went to college, Fairleigh Dickinson and DePaul University. She had a daughter that was an icon. I mean, Whitney has had all the support in the world. What happens when you leave your parents' home is entirely up to you.
Yes.
That's true.
So, you know, the failing part is, you know, they made choices that they had to live with that no one else could handle. I mean, it was entirely up to them.
Right.
So, you know, I can just only say that the support was always there. It was their choices that failed them.
Choices.
Yeah.
You loved Whitney. We all love Whitney.
Absolutely.
But what was that one special thing that you loved about Whitney that none of us know about?
You know, she had a very loving way about her. You know, she was very uplifting to her sister circle. And she had a Fab Five that no one really knew about, which was CeCe Winans, Kim Burrell, Sherelle Norton, myself, and Whitney. We were the Fab Five.
Okay.
And each one of us gave her something very, very special. And she gave us, she was very uplifting because we had, a lot of us, we had our own individual lives, and she was extremely supportive in everything that we did.
Yes.
You know, even going to Tennessee to see non-music, going there to represent and helping with young girls, with Kim Burrell, you know, helping her to start her church. You know, with Sherelle, that was her kick it girl. You know, the the Fab Five were non-judgmental. You know, we were just always there for her, not judging her, but trying to help her. So, you know, she loved that.
Right.
You know, and she did have her circle of sisters. So,
yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we watch TV One. We watch TV One, but I want you to keep it real about TV One.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on the original movie produced by TV One on Bobby Christina?
Well, you know what? In order to tell a story, you have to know the story, and they didn't quite know the story. And that's, you know, I did speak with one of the producers, and I did explain that, you know, but in order to tell a story, you have to know it, you know, because the public perception sometimes when they're watching television, you're not getting accuracies, and there were a lot of inaccuracies that were going on, you know, and there was...
Were you not interviewed during that process? Because I would like to think that the production company would interview family members, close friends. Were you never asked to do an interview to learn more about Whitney or Bobby? Bobby Christina?
I was asked about someone came to me about doing the show. It was the producers, not TV One, and I said no.
Okay.
You know, at the very beginning, I said no. You know, and they took it upon themselves to go ahead and do it. So, you know, you can't change folk, and, you know, I didn't try.
The production companies are very busy.
All right, well, we've got more with Pat Houston when we return. Please stay right where you are.
Yes. We're back with Pat Houston.
And before we left, we wanted to definitely talk about Whitney's album that you all released, the team released. I Wish You Love, more from the Bodyguard. What's it like when you hear her voice?
You know what? The first song, the first voice you're going to hear is hers, and it's almost like she's talking to you.
Wow.
So if you've never gone to her concert, that's what this album is all about, because there are live performances, and Whitney Houston live is incredible.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes you feel good. You know, it's kind of bittersweet because you're so used to, you know, seeing her perform live on stage, and to know that you're never going to see her on stage again is like heartbreaking.
Yes.
But then when you hear that voice and you hear how she gives her all, and she's pitch perfect, you know, pitch perfect. Who sings like that?
Yeah.
I mean, she's absolutely amazing. Right. So when I hear that, it's like, wow, you know, loving it.
Wow. Well,
loving it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You can pick up Pat's best-selling book, A Better You, Wisdom and Strategies to Help You Celebrate and Champion Your Life, on Amazon.com.
And the conversation always continues at SisterCircleTV.com.
Welcome back to Sister Circle Live. We just had to do it. We had to keep Miss Pat Houston.
Why not?
We had to, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think it would have been a disservice if we didn't.
Right.
Yes.
We have to serve the people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Pat.
She's here.
You know I want to talk about this book now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So you have a new book that's out. It's called A Better You, Wisdom and Strategies to Help You Celebrate and Champion Your Life. What prompted you to write this book?
My daughter, my nieces, my godchildren. You know what? Growing up, you know, I had someone, you know, when I was in high school, there was a civic groups that were around, and I was blessed that someone had an interest in me that was my mentor, and that was my English teacher, Mrs. Jolly. And she was also the president of the Audacian Club. And I was an athlete, stellar athlete. I played basketball, did the track, you know, got a scholarship to Gardner-Webb University.
Yes.
But I also got a civic scholarship from the Audacian Club. So somebody was out there watching me, you know, mentoring me, and I just wanted to give back to the community.
Yes.
And 10 years of service, you know, working with young girls, I decided to use one of the topics from our Teen Summit program to write a book. A Better You was the very first one, because I wanted my daughter first to recognize that there's always a better version of yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's why I decided to write the book, and that was the first title.
And you talked about that Teen Summit. How has it evolved over the years?
You know what? In a huge way.
Yeah.
I mean, we started out in North Carolina, my home state. We now have chapters in Richmond, Virginia,
Oh, wow.
Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Alpharetta, Georgia. We're working on New Jersey, and we're working on Houston. And we now have a mentoring academy that we started in 2013 in North Carolina. So, you know, and we have kids, that young women and young men that that started the program, you know, in high school, that are now in college.
Yes.
You know, some that needed help by way of learning how to get driver's license and jobs, and so it's evolved in a huge way.
Right, right.
You know,
Miss Pat, you seem to give to so many people, and you know, your husband has had his battles, Bobby Chris, of course, Whitney. What about you? How have you been able to be you and sustain who you are by always taking care of other people?
You know what? The same way that I am helping or have helped them, I've always had that strong source of people behind me. You know, my family, my mothers and my brothers. You know, I grew up with a lineage of women that were very, very strong. You know, and you're faced with many challenges all the time, but when you have people that are standing with you, and you know, they're teaching you and walking with you, and walking that path with you, it's very easy to stay, you know, uplifted. You know, and when you have God in your life, you know, that you can't miss. And so I've always stayed on that quest, you know, and just, it's the servitude. I love giving service. I love giving, and that's all I've ever done. You know, when I married my husband 23 years ago, you know, I married Gary the man. You know, whatever issues he had, we, you know, thought through them together, you know, moving in the same direction together. And Bobby, Christina, and Whitney were just a bonus, you know, by me being married to Gary. You know, I was standing for them then, and I stand for them now, and I always will.
Yes.
Well, I would like to stand with you in going to Memphis to do. That's my hometown, so I want to work with you and kind of push that initiative forward there. What you already have going on.
There's a lady there by the name of Ms. Verlene Kelly. You know, she has attended Teen Summit in North Carolina for the past 6 years, and she's amazing. She's done a great job with that group there, so I'm sure, you know, she would love to have you, or we would love to have you on board.
Yes.
She's a woman of her word.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, I know this had to be a hard time for you, you know, with the ups and downs with Whitney's personal life, right? And a lot of people hold you responsible for some of the things that happened and the tragic trajectory of ultimately her death. What's your response to those people?
You know, Whitney and I, we'd have great conversations, you know, because we were together a lot. And we came to the conclusion that I was only there to ease the pain that life had brought to her, and to help her find the peace that her spirit needed. And I did that. You know, I didn't make choices for her. I didn't choose her friends. I didn't choose her husband. I didn't do any of that. You know, I was only there to bring her the peace, you know, and the joy, and I did. You know, and she knew that, you know, before she passed. And, you know, one of our conversations a few days before she passed was about judging. You know, we were having lunch together at the Beverly Hilton, you know, and she asked me, she says, Pat, why do people judge me? Wow. And I'm sitting there, she was like a little girl, you know, and I said, you know, Whitney, only God can judge you at the appointed time. Wow. And I said, that you cannot worry about. So I have to use what I had given to her.
Right.
You know, people are going to judge me all day long. They don't have a clue. You know, not a clue.
That's right.
But that's okay, you know, because, you know, we've always been there for her, the family. You know, we can't, how you live your life is who you owe your allegiance to. You know.
That's a message.
Yes.
You know, that's in the book.
Right, that's in the book. You gotta get that.
You know, but you know, there's always going to be naysayers. You can't stop that. I just have to continue doing what I'm doing. A life stops, but life doesn't.
Yes.
You know? And we just have to keep it moving.
One of the strategies, really quick, I just got to get this question in. One of the strategies or the tips that you use that's in your book, which one have you used that you see yourself using in your everyday being? What tip would that be?
That formula, recognizing, internalizing, and personalizing your life. You first have to recognize what's going on with you. then you have to internalize what you're going to do about it. And when you do that, then you personalize who you want to be.
Yes.
You know, so there are formulas that's in there. The 3-tier challenge is another one. You know, transformation, transcending, and triumphing. You know, so they're like formulas, and life is about formulas.
Wow.
You know, doctors use it all the time to come up with the medicine to help you. You know, teachers, ball players, everything is strategic. So is your life.
Yes.
You know, and that's what this book is all about.
Beautiful, beautiful. As we let you go, fill in the blank. Pat Houston is.
Sister Circle.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
right.
much.
Love that.
If you enjoyed Pat Houston as much as we did, go to Sister Circle TV to find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.